Hi everybody. Today starts a series on abundance mindset for women. We're going to be covering why. Like, what is abundance mindset going to do for you, and especially for women, and what is it exactly? We're going to be discovering that abundance mindset is transcending the human mindset of lack and scarcity in the polarized world that human beings live in. It is really rising above. And so I'm going to be giving you a story about a client of mine who had some major breakthroughs, how we got her there, and also give you some more information for the upcoming, what you can expect. But first, before I get started, I would like to take a moment to ask you, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button and also the notification bell so that you will be informed every time I upload a video. And welcome to the new subscribers. I'm super excited that y'all are taking me up on my drawing that I'm getting ready to have. That is for the first 50 subscribers to the channel. I'm going to be drawing out a 1-hour free massage for you, and then in the second group of 50, because I'm working to get to my first 100 subscribers, I'm going to be giving away another massage gift certificate, 1 hour. So so happy to have the newcomers and really appreciate all of y'all on the channel. So abundance mindset for women, my favorite topic of all. Like, I really love this topic. And why? Well, because it's been one that has made my life really good. It's like really powerful. And it is actually, teachers teach most what we want to learn. Recently, I took a vacation and I did it by myself. I planned the whole thing. And this is something that, out of practicing abundance mindset consciousness in the past couple of years, really intensely through the concept or the context of Jane in the Jungle, was one of my major shifts. I did not realize that I was not doing a lot of things because I didn't have a man to do them with. And in my mind, you wait till you're either really rich to take vacations or you have a man to take you on that vacation. I know it has nothing to do with how reality really works, but it was the belief systems that I found that I was filtering my life through doing expansion work, expanding into abundance mindset. And so a couple of years ago, I took a trip to Colorado with a friend, and we did some things that but neither of us had ever done. We went to Red Rocks to a concert, and we went rafting. And just recently, I went to go take a ski trip, and it got delayed by a couple of months. And so anyway, I won't tell the story, but basically I went up in the mountains, and once again, driving through the mountains, noticed something that people in Houston often don't notice, which is we don't have any mountains. We really don't have any mountains. So today I have the background of these beautiful mountains because I was reminded once again, one of the greatest things about driving through the mountains is every time you turn a corner, you have a new view, a new viewpoint, a new perception. And metaphorically speaking, I have always found that to be really refreshing and reminding and quite phenomenal to experience it over and over again. The more you drive through the mountains, the more turns you have and the more panoramic views that open up and change and open up and change. And it's like, that's what we can do with our contexts and our minds. We can shift our viewpoints at any given time, and abundance consciousness is just that. It is catching when you are in lack and scarcity, having that revealed to you when normally maybe it wouldn't be, because that is the current state of human consciousness. There is, if you weighed how many people on our planet come from an abundance mindset versus how many come from a scarcity mindset, what you would find is that the scarcity mindset is way more present still to this day. However, those of us who are holding out the abundance mindset, we are gaining momentum right now, and it is really an awesome thing. So I'm excited. I'm like really actually just thrilled that this has become a mainstream conversation, abundance mindset. So anyway, I want to give you a story about a client of mine and the work that I've been doing with her, or rather she's been doing with me. Okay, anyway, so a little bit about my coaching. I don't take much credit for what happens with the people that I work with. I believe that I come to the coaching relationship seeing their greatness, and I don't come from a coach of I have something to give you that you don't already have, or I know better than you, or I am further along than you. In fact, further along, schmurther along, because as a coach, what I do is I help them really draw forward all of their expertise and own their expertise, in which most of those expertise I know nothing about. So what I do is I simply mirror to my clients their greatness from the get-go. Now, I have this client who seemed to have really forgotten who she was when I first started working with her. She was in a place of discouragement. She'd been through some health issues that went on for a long time, and that will pull a person down into scarcity consciousness, because when you're dealing with health issues big time, you go into survival mode. And survival mode, by its very implications, is you're gonna live or you're gonna die. You know, it's very polarized. Live, die. Not fun to deal with. So she'd had these illnesses. She'd gotten well, and then she was looking at where she was working, and things had slowed down for her when she was going through the illnesses and the recovery from the illnesses. The company that she was working for had taken over some of her accounts. She felt like she wasn't getting the right commissions, like she wasn't getting credit for the orders that were coming in, and very discouraged about the level of integrity when she actually went to talk to the people that she works with about this issue. She didn't get validated, she got invalidated, and in a kind of subtle way that wasn't really able to confront head on because it was a smokescreen. And so that was discouraging. And then there was one other thing that she was dealing with when we first started working together, and that was good old-timey ageism. Now, ageism is the oppression of the elderly people. But ageism for women, especially in our culture, in our society, in our day and time, starts after 50 for most women. Not all women, but a lot of women, once they turn 50, it is like they're actually probably in their prime. Like 50s is great for women. We are in our 50s, we are in the best place that we could be in usually. However, not if we're sick and not if, but if we're healthy and well, we have all these great life experiences and wisdom, and most women at 50 still have a lot of life force in them, and they've finished raising their children. So seemingly you would think, wow, that's great, except for right at 50 is when this thing called ageism starts settling in. I'm too old, I waited too long, I'm not relevant anymore. Ageism is something that you feel. You literally feel after you turn 50, and especially if you're a woman. And I don't know what it's like for men because I'm not a man, but I can tell you the specific ways that it was sitting on this client of mine was really like, unless I get a facelift and new teeth and keep dressing like a younger adult, people treat me differently, and it's not pretty. Okay, it's like you're done. And anyway, enough of that, because we turned the whole dang darn thing around for her. First, what we did was we addressed the ageism and said, it's not too late, and you can either focus on being old in the way that people treat you, or you can transcend that into abundance consciousness. So we started doing abundance consciousness work together, and those are experiential exercises and some coaching as well. Just a lot of taking time to set intentions, recreate dreams, visions. And so she did, and she set an intention to get excited again about her sales job. She's commissioned salespreneur, and so she wanted to get back to where she used to be with her sales, where she kicked some butt and took some name out there and loved it, was excited about it. And so she set the intention for that, and sure enough, lo and behold, landed a huge account, like over $1 million worth of new business per year for her company that she works for. They had to hire new employees. They had to buy new equipment. It stood to more than triple her salary that year. Yeah, it was huge, absolutely huge. Now, here's the second thing about why abundance consciousness is so important. Because once you remember how great you are, which is what I did with her first, was I just held a mirror and said, look, you forgot who you are. I'm going to remind you. You are smart as all get out. Great to work with. Very likable person. Super high levels of customer service. And then start working on your expanding from there, from that place, the being, the ownership of greatness. Then big breakthrough happens, and then the flood comes. And so new office equipment, new employees, new everything, new big paychecks, and then breakdown, communication breakdown. Again, we're going to need to apply abundance mindset to this communication breakdown. Why? Because the communication breakdown was one that caused her to have a complaint, and it wasn't her fault. And first thing that came out of her mouth when the breakdown came along, because at first they knew there was going to be a lot of breakdowns. All the executives got together. She met with them, and they acknowledged, yes, this is going to be a big transition. There will be breakdowns. But she didn't exactly cover her butt or let people know everything that was going on in the background, like let people know what all she was doing, because these are her words, she didn't want to toot her own horn. She doesn't want to have to prove herself, and she didn't want to communicate some of the things that were going on because she knew that it would get other people in trouble. So she didn't want to cause that kind of problem. This is all very kind of what women do. This is, if you look at human polarities of right and wrong, man or woman, pretty or smart, good or bad, and human polarities down here in the scarcity consciousness, we're not thinking, we're acting in a very kind of automatic way of that it has to be this way or that way, this way or that way. And when we're dealing with other people that are in that kind of consciousness, we are also dealing with people who scapegoat because they're in the right and wrong game. And it's like, who can take responsibility for this other than me? Because someone has to be wrong and someone has to take the fault. And she ended up getting it. Bam! Really got it. Well, time to communicate, and time to communicate from an expanded, rising above in abundance consciousness sort of high level of intention to create. And so after much coaching and really allowing her to talk a lot, actually, and listening really well to her, and continuing to look at distinguishing the difference between, okay, are you going to dive in and do the kind of scarcity conversations that are very polarized between right and wrong, or are you going to rise above and expect some kind of miraculous outcome? Like, even this breakdown was there because it was going to cause another huge breakthrough. That's abundance mindset. Like, everything has a purpose and a reason, and everything, it's not just taking lemons and making lemonade. It is literally trusting the universe with universal laws that everything can be transformed into even better outcomes. And that is exactly what happened. So she set the intention to go in and communicate powerfully from a place of an expanded, abundant mindset, not defensive, not explaining herself, but really actually speaking up, standing for herself. And she also created the intention before she went into the next meeting that to have no expectations or limits on the outcome. Like this or something better will surely happen. And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. And it happened like that. Like she went in, this was all resolved within one day, and she actually went to the next level with her account and her finances. It was quite amazing to watch. So, as women, one of the things that we can do is we can work with this thing called expanded states, because we are so very much in touch with our spiritual nature. In other words, we have this intuitive intelligence, and we're not in a male's world. It's really a lot more focused into intellect, but in an expanded state, what you have is you have the opportunity to actually tap into higher level of energy, which is infinite intelligence, own all of your greatness and expertise, and come from abundance in everything that you do, whether it's your communications, your money, your health and wellness, whatever it is. And so we're going to be covering more of these different applications of abundance consciousness or abundance mindset. And we will actually do some meditations. I'm going to give you one of a very powerful meditation for experiencing yourself as an expanded being. And by the way, in the comment section, I'd love to know, when is the first time you remember having an expanded type of experience? I remember for me, I was on my trampoline and I had been jumping, which got my breathing going. So already getting into my body viscerally, getting wore out, and then falling on my back and just in the backyard, looking up through the treetops at the sky, the clouds, the infinite, and having this experience of my higher self. But I didn't have the words for it then, but of how huge the universe was and how my future was going to be huge and extraordinary as well. This was when I was a girl. And so some of you might have had your first real expanded experience of, like, visceral experience of, we are in an abundant universe. There really is no such thing as lack and scarcity. That is a polarized conversation that is in human consciousness built on survival, but it's not actually the reality about our universe. Our universe is full of huge mountains, wonderful trees, infinite sky, fluffy clouds that are moving across us. This is a magical, abundant universe. And so that's what I got for you today. And I hope that it was useful to you. I would love to hear from you in your comment section. If your first spiritual type of visceral experience was at church, great. I wasn't raised in church. Or was it in nature? What was one of your very first, as a child, remembrance of having this kind of experience of wow, like amazing, huge, abundant universe that you were born into? And I'd love to get your comments on that. Also, if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell as well. As usual, from In the Jungle, until next time.